We apologize for any shenanigans going on that we were unaware of, but we are so excited. Our special on the Gathering Place, we did a 1-hour special. We've been working on it for weeks, months.
Oh, months, yeah.
Yeah, really working hard on it. It is coming up at 8 o'clock on Channel 6. And we just wanted to be here also to talk to you guys if you had any questions or to hear your comments or just kind of get the pulse of Tulsa for this big event.
You know, we've been covering this for quite some time, you know, in little bits and pieces, but this hour-long special is a very comprehensive look at the park. I mean, we're going to talk about security, we're going to talk about parking, we're going to talk about the restaurants, the food that they're going to have. We're going to talk about, you name it, we're going to talk about it. And you got quite the interview for this.
Oh, that was so exciting. And it took some doing, can we just tell you? You know, George Kaiser has done so much for the city of Tulsa. It's just amazing. But you'll notice none of the things he's done are George Kaiser, you know, gathering place. It's not George Kaiser Center over here. You know, he does not like to put his name on things. He does not like to be in the spotlight. So for this, we really wanted to talk to him because, you know, he is quick to say this is not just his thing. But clearly it also wouldn't have happened if it weren't for him. So we are so happy that he finally, you know, gave us some time, and he was just delightful. It was great.
And I'm sure he's thrilled about, like everyone else, about how this park has turned out.
You know, he is, and he says, that's what's so fun. I got to walk around with him a little bit in the park, and he is so clearly excited. And he said the thing that's so fun is every time you walk through this park, there's a surprise.
Yeah.
There's so many little things and so many details that they attended to. So he said even for him, as well as he knows that every time he goes through, there's something he wasn't expecting.
You know, I know my first time to go to the park when we were out working on our show, people would be talking to me and I would just kind of zone out just a little bit because I had that same feeling. I saw something else at the park that grabbed my attention. Then I hear somebody saying something. Oh, I'm sorry. I was distracted a little bit. But I mean, there's so much to see and so much uniqueness about this park that it certainly grabs your attention. And I was just like a little kid again. Yeah. You know, you're walking through the park and all of a sudden, oh, you know. And
I think that's what they're going for.
It's like that squirrel moment. Squirrel. You know, it's like, you know, you're walking along and all of a sudden you quit talking and you look at something and you're like, oh my gosh.
And so much of it you have to be interactive to do, like even on Swing Hill, you know, and each thing, and because of the way they designed it, each area of the park is kind of, you feel like you're in your own little space.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of the topography of the park. So even on Swing Hill, you're swinging and you come up and then you see the skyline of Tulsa and then you're back down in your little space and then there's the skyline of Tulsa and you're back to, so just little things that you, as you go through the park, it's like, oh, they thought of so many things.
I was checking out some of the restaurants that they're going to have at the Gathering Place, and we'll have more of that coming up in the special, but just the view from the overlook of one of the restaurants is just amazing because you can see the Arkansas River, you can see the skyline, you can see a lot of the park, and then you can see the big open space where they're going to have concerts and that kind of thing. And you could just sit there, have dinner, and look out over this amazing view. And everywhere you look, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's really cool. And the opening celebrations, they last, and I should know this because we're doing this Facebook Live, but what is it, every day for a month, 2 months? There's something big going on.
Oh, big time activities going on.
Yes, and fireworks.
Music acts and fireworks.
I mean, yes, it's not just Saturday, because I know a lot of people are thinking, well, I can't make it Saturday, or you really don't like you know, you're a person who doesn't like the crowds. I mean, it'd be so much fun to be there on Saturday, but there are a lot more celebrations to come after that. So if you can't make it, you're not going to be missing out.
It's also so much fun because I have a lot of relatives, a lot of friends across Oklahoma in different parts of the state, not just the Tulsa area, but you know, out in western Oklahoma and southeastern Oklahoma and central Oklahoma. And they will ask me, hey, how's that park coming along? That's going to be amazing. So it's not just a place for Tulsa to gather. It's a place where I think is going to attract a lot of people, not just from other parts of Oklahoma, but really
regionally.
From regionally. Yeah.
Yes, they're
100 days of celebration.
100 days of celebration. See, I knew it was big. 100 days of fireworks and bands and special programming. I mean, you know, so really, you don't worry if you can't come on Saturday. It'll be great, but there's plenty to come, and we are getting ready to start our special. So we so hope you guys can tune in and watch, and we're going to be here on commercials to answer any questions or just talk to you about what you're thinking about our gathering.
Yeah, our special starts at 8 o'clock tonight. It's an hour-long special. Again, we've been working on it for several months now, putting this all together, and so we hope you join us on News on 6 on Channel 6 to get the latest.
Okay, we'll see you shortly.
I'm not hearing.
I'm not hearing anything either.
They're not hearing it in their IFBs. Can you encourage that feed programs in their IFBs by chance?
I was trying to share it on my page and I
Me
can't
too.
figure out how.
And Christy said she can't get it to share either.
This is about a 10-minute segment.
Okay.
We'll come back up. Okay.
Why can't we? Oh, here's share. Maybe that's the comment though.
Hey, can you? Yeah, I'm trying to share it. Why am I not?
Because I just shared it.
Hang on, I have to go
Where
back
do
to
you
the
share?
6.
There you go, right here.
Yeah,
Where?
but so
Click right there. Click that
share,
button.
but is it going to go to the right?
River, then you have the amazing park. Can't beat it. It's all pretty spectacular.
1, 2, 3, Gathering Place!
Gathering Place, Tulsa's Riverfront Park, presented by Bob Hurley Ford.
Welcome to Gathering Place, Tulsa's Riverfront Park. This world-class a two-story fireplace made from Oklahoma sandstone that you can actually walk inside to the Sky Garden that carries visitors over Riverside Drive on a carpet of green. Over the next hour, we'll show you what sets Gathering Place apart from any other park in the country.
In fact, there are 5 acres of things for kids to climb on, climb up, climb under, and explore. We'll check out the one-of-a-kind creations inspired by the Arkansas River and Twin Towers brought to Tulsa from almost half a world away.
Plus, with the thousands of people expected in the park every day, we'll let you know about the high-tech security features designed to keep you and your family safe. The vision for Tulsa's Gathering Place has been more than a decade in the making.
The failure of a 2007 bond issue to develop the Arkansas River left leaders at the George Kaiser Family Foundation with one big question. What can Tulsa do to take advantage of its single greatest natural resource? The answer has proved to be astonishing.
So this is a circle driveway that comes off the main drive into the park.
No one in Tulsa has been more instrumental in bringing the vision of Gathering Place to life than Jeff Stava.
Does it amaze you to stand here and see it all coming together?
So yeah, it's unbelievable.
As the face of Gathering Place, Stava has spent the last decade overseeing the design and construction of a project the likes of which this country has never seen. 400 million private dollars donated for a park.
Which makes it the single largest private gift to a municipality in the history of the United States.
How did this all come about? What was the thought 10 years ago that led to this?
George realized that all great cities have central gathering places. And so that's the premise that we started with.
George, of course, is Tulsa philanthropist George Kaiser. From early childhood education to securing Tulsa's place as a mecca for folk music, he chooses his projects with an eye to the future of the city that is both his home and his passion.
We can do all that we are doing with respect to helping people in very disadvantaged circumstances, but unless we can draw good jobs to Tulsa and give an opportunity for our young people to stay here and prosper here, then Tulsa can't recover.
And now Kaiser is pinning his hopes for that recovery, along with $200 million of his own dollars, to this 100-acre stretch along the Arkansas River. He and other Tulsa leaders believe this park can transform the city, both as an economic engine for growth.
This is what the new workforce wants. If you're going to have a thriving, productive, community and you're going to attract and retain talent, you need these types of amenities.
And an attraction that will bring Tulsans from all walks of life together as a community.
It really speaks to what we're trying to do in Tulsa right now, which is get back to focusing on being the best city that we can be, to be world class.
Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum sees Gathering Place as a continuation of the bold vision of the city's founders, a project that will help reclaim the pride of Tulsa's glory days.
I hope that Tulsans appreciate the historic moment in the history of our city when this park opens up. This is right up there with President Coolidge opening up the water line for Tulsa. We're one of the first airports in the country when most people had not seen an airplane. Or being the oil capital of the world or America's most beautiful city.
And for Jeff Stava, nothing means more than seeing this new vision of Tulsa reflected in the eyes of the city's youngest generation.
Oh my gosh, the kids, brings tears to my eyes, but.
Gathering Place was christened by Tulsa school children, and it is their voice that will ultimately bring this park to life.
As the buses were driving in, they'd be cheering and yelling because they could see the towers coming out from the trees. They were so excited to be here, you know, and that's what we want.
I don't want to be on this earth exclusively to accumulate resources, but to make something happen that otherwise would not have happened that helps the lives of somebody else.
The Kaiser Family Foundation hired one of America's most acclaimed landscape architects to bring their vision of Gathering Place to life. Michael Van Valkenburg tells us he believes great cities are defined by parks, and Tulsa's Gathering Place is his latest masterpiece. Van Valkenburg says he began dreaming up designs for the park the moment he learned about the project about 8 years ago.
I knew it was going to be great. I was surprised that a piece of land that big right in the middle of the city was sitting there the way it was. And I think people see this as another piece in the puzzle of making a truly great place to live and to raise families.
News on 6 caught up with Van Valkenburg at Brooklyn Bridge Park, which he designed, along with Boston's Children's Museum and presidential libraries for George W. Bush and Barack Obama. Coming up a little later, find out which other multi-million-dollar project Van Valkenburg is working on right now in Tulsa. Now here's Lori Fulbright.
Throughout construction, Gathering Place has been committed to preserving Tulsa's natural beauty. In fact, there are more than 6,000 trees scattered throughout the park. One of the best arborists in the country came to Tulsa from New York to make sure everything went according to plan. Trees that had to be removed because they were unhealthy were repurposed in the park to be tables, benches, even climbing features. Here at the playground, these 5 acres are proving age is just a number. News on 6's Ashley Isbicki shows us how Gathering Place is transforming the traditional playground into an adventure for kids of all shapes and sizes.
My mind actually is blown. This is incredible.
You've probably seen the iconic towers, but these red ropes leading to hidden features
Here it is.
are just one adventure at Adventure Playground.
I wasn't expecting this. This is way better than anything I could have imagined.
There you go. Where kids learn through play.
They're learning through bravery of climbing in these towers and doing things that test the limits of what they thought they could do before.
For the youngest adventurers, this is Volcanoville.
It's a really safe spot where parents can put their kids down and let them crawl safely in an area that's just for them.
Nearby, it's Fairyland Forest.
Cute little playhouses that look like little cottages and princess castles.
An enchanting experience bringing storybooks to life for toddlers.
Bella.
Hi, Bella. How old are you?
Me? They'll say 2.
This is Caterpillar Bridge. It connects Volcanoville and Fairyland Forest to areas of the park for bigger kids, ages 5 through 12. Land of the River Giants features these 2 magnificent blue herons, as well as a paddlefish, which are animals native to Oklahoma.
For the climbers wanting to take adventures to new heights, there's Skywalk Forest with speedy slides. For thrill seekers, a zip line.
I love that there's just so many different kinds of things for them to play on. You know, the sensory garden.
Kids can find musical instruments.
Everybody, what's that?
There's a huge rock that they can turn around.
There's a surprise.
Experiences that are based on STEM education, the science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Around every corner. And for the sweltering hot days, there are two main water features that will be working when the park opens. Mist Mountain with water jets, jumping fountains, and a mystic maze. And Water Mountain with tunnels, dams, and streams.
Very advanced water elements right next to this playground. So if they get hot, they can immediately just jump over there.
Two cool ways to beat the heat and take a break from the testing towers.
They're having to analyze, like, okay, which way should I go and can I fit there? Will my feet fit on this? Should I go there?
Where even parents can play.
Every time you come in, no matter what age you are, you see it through the eyes of a child.
The whole park from up here.
In a kingdom built for everyone.
We're going to see, people from all over town and probably out of town that comes too, that they're going to meet and get to interact with versus just our neighborhood park that's people we usually already know.
We travel a ton, and
Mommy.
I'm proud of Oklahoma for this.
Good job, Beckett.
Ashley Isbicki, News on 6.
There are plenty of cafes, restaurants, and food carts here at Gathering Place.
It is beyond exciting. I don't think there's any concept out there that is like the Gathering Place.
Where families on a budget and couples on a date can eat and drink on the way.
Plus, from SeaWorld in Orlando to Gathering Place in Tulsa, meet the man in charge and find out the one thing he says is so astonishing about our city's new park.
And we'll tell you how every step visitors take inside Gathering Place will give them a lesson in Oklahoma history.
This segment of Gathering Place, Tulsa's Riverfront Park, has been sponsored by
Hour-long special on News on 6 on Gathering Place. It is quite the park, and I love what one woman in that story had to say. Even adults, when you see it, you kind of see it through the eyes of a child, and it is so much fun.
I think, and we both commented on this when we went out because we have been obviously, this has been 10 years in the making at least. So a lot has gone on, and we've gone to Germany and done things on the playgrounds being formed. So I was pretty ready to be impressed when I went out there.
And you were what?
Yes.
And blown away?
Yes, still when I went out. So I just am so excited for everybody to go out and get to see it. A lot of people have been asking us about hours, and we just had that up on the screen, but they're consistent every day. The park opens at 9 o'clock and closes at
10.
At 10, the children's playground will close at dusk, so that's a little bit variable. Obviously right now it's going to be staying open pretty late.
And we want to hear your questions on Facebook. If you have questions about the park, send them in to us, and we'll get to as many of those questions as possible. You may be wondering some of the things that you can't take to the park.
Right.
We'll go ahead and talk a little bit about those right now. You can't take glass bottles. You can take water, that kind of thing.
And they're encouraging you
plastic.
to, especially if you're going to the parade, because they're not going to be selling any kind of water or snacks. So for the parade, they actually want you to take water and snacks.
Take your bottled water, just no glass bottles, no outside grills, no alcohol at all. Open or concealed carry guns, knives, other weapons, of course. It's a playground. Can't take drones or any other radio-controlled equipment, and they don't want you to take any amplified sound devices either. So.
Right. They say if you need that, you need to use your earphones because somebody else might want to hear something else, or there's the sound of the park. So
yeah, they want to hear the children's laughter at the park.
Yeah. Won't that be?
Ford is honored to be the official vehicle sponsor of Gathering Place. Every great city deserves a great place to gather.
Our family looks forward to seeing your family right here at Gathering Place.
Good evening, I'm Leanne Taylor. One of the main entrances to Gathering Place is right here at the Williams Lodge. This 25,000 square foot building is one of the largest buildings in the park. George Kaiser wanted a design to look like part of a landscape, so the lodge is surrounded by and built with Oklahoma native stone from Haskell County. Every boulder you see here weighs anywhere from 1,000 pounds to 5,000. Park leaders tell us each boulder was precision cut at a quarry and labeled for a specific spot here at the lodge. There's seating here in the great room with a gorgeous view of Peggy's Pond, where families can relax in the air conditioning or enjoy activities on rainy days. The centerpiece of the lodge is this massive 2-story fireplace. It's large enough for you to walk around it. For right now, park leaders tell me you won't be able to reserve a spot here at the lodge or at any of the locations around the park for private events, but you will be able to eat here at the lodge and at other locations. And for that tough assignment, let's check in with Craig Day.
That's right, Leanne, and with the quality of food offered at Gathering Place, this might be an ongoing research project for me. Not only do they want you to be blown away by the park, they also want you to be blown away by the food.
At first, I'll be very honest with you, come from Chicago, I had to Google where Tulsa was. I will not lie about that.
He may have had to Google Tulsa, but he definitely knows his way around the kitchen. And now, the Gathering Place.
Hi, I'm Kirk Swaby, and I am the executive chef of the Gathering Place.
I met Swaby on the overlook deck of a restaurant located at the Boathouse at the Gathering Place. The outdoor seating on the deck will provide great views of the park.
Enjoy the amazing entertainment that we're going to have. Then just enjoy the view. You have downtown Tulsa right there. We have the river. Then you have the amazing park. Can't beat it.
And Chef Swaby says food was definitely a focus while building the Gathering Place, starting with the largest of its restaurants, the Vista at the Boathouse. It will include indoor seating, but also seating on the deck.
An eclectic style of cuisine, so pulling from the different demographics that we have in Tulsa and bringing almost a fusion into the restaurant, so giving a wide range of flavor combinations that you really don't find in many restaurants here in Tulsa.
Another restaurant, The Patio, is located on the east side of Williams Lodge and offers a quick service dining menu.
Upscale burgers, pizzas, chicken strips, so fair food that you can actually get there as well.
And the Redbud Cafe on the bottom floor of Williams Lodge will definitely get the attention of children.
A hybrid of all three: candy shop, pastry shop, and ice cream parlor smashed into one.
All of those sweet treats will be made in-house daily. Chef Swaby says there will be something for everyone, no matter their age. He hopes food will be part of the fond memories people take away from the Gathering Place.
One catalyst within the world that people gather around is food. It's a universal thing. People gather around food, so why not have amazing food that we can share?
As the park fills with families playing and having fun while working up an appetite, Swaby says there are several options that promise to be unique and affordable as folks get a taste of what the Gathering Place has to offer.
Where the Gathering Place is located, where we're able to bring different diverse foods into the park in one central location right off the river, you can't beat that. It is beyond exciting. I don't think there's any concept out there that is like the Gathering Place.
Food carts will also be scattered at strategic places throughout the park, so you can grab something to eat or drink and get right back to playing on the playground.
Nearly 100 people have signed up to be volunteers at Gathering Place. The park tells us they'll help with events, festivals, concerts, even horticulture. Volunteers will also be able to sign up for shifts that best fit their schedule, whether they want to help out on a daily or weekly basis. Gathering Place is creating hundreds of new jobs.
Leading the employees is the park's director, who comes to Tulsa with experience from theme parks in Orlando, Florida. News on 6's Emery Bryan has more.
And so you get the real musicians. And
Tony Moore is no musician, and he's the first to admit it. But the sensory garden, filled with sound, is one of his favorite spots in the park.
And then it's very musical inclined, and thus the term sensory. It's sound, it's touch, it's audio, it's feel.
Tony Moore is the park director for Gathering Place. He's looking forward to new sounds coming to the park, the voices of children.
These pathways will be crowded with kids running back and forth, parents running after kids, laughter.
Moore arrived in Tulsa in the summer of 2016. He's married with 2 children, a native of Jamaica who moved to the U.S. for college. He's worked at SeaWorld, Universal Studios, and the Tampa Zoo.
It's interesting because I've never seen this much content in one place without an admission price attached to it. And so culturally for me, that was a transition I had to get used to. And so that just speaks to the selection of content, world-class content from all over the globe, quite honestly, but well-positioned and great diversity.
Moore has the expertise to predict how children and their parents will move around the park and what they'll need. Gathering Place can accommodate 10,000 people on a busy day. Moore predicts locals will spend 3 to 4 hours at a time here, while out-of-town visitors will stay longer.
We know kids will come to the park and have a blast, and they will play and they'll enjoy all the attractions, but education is such a major part as we invest back into the communities.
Back at the Sensory Garden, a spot almost hidden is one of Moore's favorite places. It's filled with play equipment that allows children to create their own tune or make their own storm.
Give you a little workout.
Oh, look at that.
You got to see the Tulsa tornado, right?
Most everything is active and in reach of everyone, including disabled children. By design, for children overwhelmed by crowds and noises, there are quiet places to escape. Moore says after all his experience elsewhere and working on site 2 years already, he is still amazed by what Gathering Place will be for every visitor.
You really have a sense of pride, but humble pride, if that makes sense. Humbled to be a part of it, but just understanding the impact this will have where a family from Tulsa or anywhere close by can come out and have an awesome time at a world-class attraction for free. It just, makes you feel like you're doing good work.
He says at first he couldn't believe a park like this was being built, and now he's the one in charge of running it.
I think it's going to be a whole different emotion, and I just can't wait to see Tulsans engaging the park and embracing the park.
Emery Bryan, News on 6.
High-tech features inside Gathering Place are designed to keep you and your family safe.
We have a very extensive network, and it will be actively monitored with someone on our base station at all times.
Plus, with a click of a camera, how a Tulsan documents history right here at Gathering Place.
This project is unique in that it's so big and so amazing.
This segment of Gathering Place, Tulsa's Riverfront Park, has been sponsored by SEM Group.
Growing up in
dog policy. So dogs are not allowed in the park itself. They're going to have some special days that they're going to announce where you can bring your dogs, but in general, no dogs. Service dogs, I'm sure, but
yeah, service dogs are okay, but no dogs. They're going to have special events. Bring your pet to the movies night, or different things like that. So,
but in general,
not a good idea to bring the pets there. One of the things that struck me during Emery's story was when he said that never in all of his experience, the park director, in all of his experience, has he seen so much jammed into such an area without an admission price. It's free. It's free.
It's this incredible gift to the city of Tulsa. Yes, and they have, 150 up to 200 people who will be on staff, and everybody says, of course, and it's a reasonable question, who's paying for all this? Well, that's a gift too. The George Kaiser Family Foundation, they have raised an endowment of $100 million to pay for the maintenance and operation of this park. So the city of Tulsa has certainly done some things, some work on Riverside Drive, some of the work on the Arkansas River, but in general, this is actually the largest gift of its kind in the history of the United States.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it really is.
We're just so fortunate.
One of the things you may be watching this and you think, well, maybe I'm not going to go play on the playground, or I'm not going to go do this or that. Well, as I mentioned in that report just a moment ago, go for the restaurants. I mean, the atmosphere is going to be electric, and there's again 3 different areas, 3 different restaurants. Plenty of outdoor seating on the overlook. That's going to be open really all the time. So you can if you just want to go to the Gathering Place to eat as a night out, a date night.
Reasonable prices too.
Yes, and absolutely. They wanted to make sure of several things. Reasonably priced. They wanted to use as much local flavor and local produce and that kind of thing as possible. And they wanted healthy options as well. So the park is going to have all of that at different locations, the 3 different restaurants, and then again the food carts that are going to be around, and they'll even have a food truck that's going to be out there as
and
well.
even a chance to get a glass of wine for those so inclined.
And go enjoy the big, giant, open area where all the concerts are going to be.
All right. Enjoy the show. We'll be back soon.
On any given day, thousands of people will be in the park, and like any good security plan, this one plans for the worst but hopes for the best. Park leaders have consulted the FBI, Homeland Security, the Tulsa Police Department, the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office. They've also looked at what places like SeaWorld and Six Flags are doing and taken the best of all of it to help make people safe. The park has a network of more than 100 cameras placed around the 5.5 acres. The cameras will focus on the areas where the largest number of people gather, including parking lots and playgrounds for children. They also have 20 security officers who will both monitor those cameras as well as patrol the park.
We'll always have 24 hours a day security. Now, it will be a little bit heavier when there's guests in the park, but outside of park hours as well, there'll be 24-hour security.
On normal days during peak season when no big event is scheduled, they'll have 1 officer watching cameras and 3 to 5 working in the park. On big event days, they'll also add to that number with Tulsa police and private security firms. They've also coordinated training with TPD and the Sheriff's Office so they can all work together in sync.
So we will share radio codes, share radios if it's an event where TPD is on site. That way they can communicate with our team and us with them.
Even though there are more than 100 cameras in the park, it's important to remember they can't see everything or be everywhere, so it's also important to everyone who visits the park to be aware of their surroundings. Park leaders want to strike a balance between having enough cameras to make people feel safe, but not so many that people feel spied on. Plus, they are training all 200 employees to have the mindset that if they see something, they should say something.
Regardless of the technology and policies and procedures, active, alert employees is your #1 form of security.
The park will also be outfitted in certain areas with bollards similar to these that were ordered from a company in Italy. Some of them will be able to go up and down automatically with the push of a button. Others will be operated manually as the need arises. The bollards will be placed at the main entrances so they can be raised after hours, and also in areas where lots of people would be gathered, so no one could drive through the crowd.
It's kind of morbid to have to think like that, but we think like that so that people are safe when they come to our park, and we try to anticipate what other people don't think of when they go out of their door in the morning.
In addition to the 2 main entrances, there are 19 other ways to access the park from various trails. The park has a lost child protocol already in place, but they also feel safety is the responsibility of everyone. So lock your car doors, don't leave valuables visible in your car, keep your purse on you, keep an eye on your kids, and be alert, just as you would anywhere.
I think come out, enjoy your time at the park, behave yourself, and just keep an eye out because there are people out there who are sometimes up to no good.
There will be numbers posted in the park that you can call if you need help. But Craig, they say this is Tulsa's park, and if Tulsans treat it like their own, they expect problems to be at a minimum.
Thanks, Lori. And with thousands of people expected at Gathering Place every single day, there needs to be plenty of places to park. There are 528 spots inside the park. A temporary parking lot is located at 31st and Riverside with more than 1,000 spots. There are 4 electric vehicle charging stations.
Riverside Drive doesn't open until Monday, but once you're inside the park, you'll be able to walk over one of the busiest streets in Tulsa. This land bridge will allow bike riders and runners to access the park from the river trails. The twin tunnels along Riverside are lined with thousands of trees, shrubs, and plants. Park leaders expect the Sky Garden to become a go-to spot for engagement pictures and family photos. Gathering Place was an extraordinary man's extraordinary dream. But he couldn't do it alone.
Every time you go around a corner, you find something you didn't know was there. I still do.
Plus, we'll tell you which famous faces are coming to Tulsa to celebrate the park's grand opening.
This segment of Gathering Place, Tulsa's Riverfront Park, has been sponsored by your locally owned mattress firm.
Mattress Firm's labor. I drive for the first time in 2 years.
No
Even
kidding,
that
yeah.
is so exciting, and it looks so different.
Isn't it neat, the tunnels going through there, and the park goes over the top of it, and all the landscaping and everything.
It's
It's
like,
great.
what cool city is this? So it's so fun.
We want to encourage you to send in your questions via Facebook, and I wanted to take a look at a couple. John had asked about security, so John, I hope you got your questions answered with Lori's report just a moment ago. Beth Ann, thank you very much. She says, just complimented us. Thank you, KOTV, for doing this. And we look.
Talk about our pleasure.
Yeah, it's a tough assignment to go talk about a world-class.
No, we've
park.
been really honored. We've had a really nice partnership with the Kaiser Foundation in doing this, and it's, what a gift, because, I talked to the mayor at the beginning of the show, in case you missed it, and he was talking about, this is more than just a park opening. They really see this as a moment in Tulsa's history. He compared it to, President Hoover was here when the water line was open for Tulsa, and you know, the oil expos and the most beautiful city. And Tulsa, when its airport opened, was one of the biggest in the country. Just these moments in the city's history, and they feel like Gathering Place is right in there, that it will. And George Kaiser's interview is coming up, so we'll talk more about that, about how this is more than just a park. It's really something that can change our city.
And I really think, you know, we talked a little bit earlier about it getting statewide attention and regional attention. I really think this is something special that is going to get national and international attention.
Well, it already has. There was a really nice article in the New York Times. They're expecting 1 million visitors to this park in the first year.
Not the first weekend.
Plenty the first weekend.
Plenty the first weekend.
1 million visitors bringing into Tulsa, so it's something.
Just think
special.
about the source of the sense of pride that gives our area, gives Tulsa, and the economic impact that's going to have.
And we wanted to talk about the shuttles, because we talk about a million visitors really quickly. Let's talk about that. Where are you going to park?
Right, we've got shuttles. They start running Saturday morning at 6 a.m. and they're going to run every few minutes from OSU. There's several locations: OSU Tulsa, the Tulsa County Fairgrounds, in the lot behind the Expo Hotel, and from the River Spirit Casino's Triangle lot. And the shuttles run until 11 both Saturday and Sunday. Then Monday the shuttles will run 9 to 10.
And this is all on our Facebook page as well.
Gathering Place would not be possible if not for the vision and financial support of George Kaiser.
He's the son of Jewish refugees who's made it his life's work to level the playing field for children at risk. In this park, in this Gathering Place, he sees the chance for those children and the city he loves to grow and heal.
When George Kaiser walks through Gathering Place, he sees more than world-class playgrounds and rolling green hills.
We had a sense starting 10 or 15 years ago that Tulsa was in a little bit of a rut.
He sees a better future for the city of Tulsa.
Tulsa historically has always had a very strong sense of community, and to some degree now we're separated by geography, by race, and by class. And so the idea of a park was that, and the reason it's called a gathering place, is we wanted to gather people together from all areas of the metropolitan area, from all backgrounds, so that they could mingle with each other in a casual atmosphere and understand that they're all alike.
While Kaiser has given $200 million to making this dream a reality, Gathering Place was designed to be the vision of not one man, but of one community. The architect spent a full year taking the measure of this city, hearing the input of thousands of Tulsans before throwing the doors open to the first model for this park. George Kaiser will never forget the response from both citizens and Tulsa's business community.
The response was overwhelming. Of the 70 or so people who have the capability to make a material difference in making this a park of excellence, about 65 or more of them have joined in a major way. And if the other 3 or 4 or 5 want to join, there's plenty of room left.
Just saying.
That's right, just saying.
Your real focus in life has been to help children who were born in different circumstances. How do you think this park plays into that?
Yeah, that is one of the tenets of my thinking. I've observed that people like to give the credit to their character, strength of character, and their intellect, and their hard work, and so forth for why they gained whatever level of success they did. But in fact, if we're honest with ourselves, we got where we got to a large degree by dumb luck. Everything in the park is geared toward giving children, through play, an education, and a broadening experience for their brain development. We want our kids and grandkids to have a favorable, nostalgic memory of Tulsa. And so when the time comes, they'll return to Tulsa.
George Kaiser doesn't like to talk about legacy, and he certainly doesn't like to talk about vision.
I had LASIK on both eyes and cataract surgery on one, so my vision is not what it was.
But he will allow for hope. Hope that this park can improve the lives of our children, that it can bring Tulsans together, that this land will be both an oasis and a symbol for the city he believes in.
Most cities are riven by controversy among people and so forth, and here we had virtually everyone, as I say, who could help us in a major way, joining with us enthusiastically, and that says a lot about Tulsa.
I'm here at the Quick Trip Lawn. This is going to be a real happening place. In fact, some famous faces are going to be in Tulsa the opening day of the park. Gathering Place's 100 Days of Opening celebration will kick off with free concerts on Saturday, including a performance by The Roots, which is the band from The Tonight Show. 4 other acts are scheduled to perform on opening day. Park leaders say up to 5,000 people can watch shows on the Quick Trip Lawn.
Long before crews broke ground on Gathering Place, work had started to document the process. News on 6's Tess Monty introduces us to a man who's making sure that history is shared for generations to come.
With every snap of the camera, photographer Shane Bevel,
It's documentation, it's reporting.
is capturing a story
It's all pretty spectacular.
and archiving history in real time.
It's the Central Park of Tulsa, or the Golden Gate of Tulsa, or the Arch of Tulsa, or whatever you want to call it.
Shane is the official Gathering Place photographer, a job he essentially created for himself in a conversation with the park's project manager.
I said, you know, unsolicited advice, you need to hire somebody, hire me, hire whoever, but hire someone to shoot pictures of that process.
Just a few weeks after that conversation, Shane was hired.
It's been neat to watch it all come up out of the ground, yeah.
And the ground is really where those pictures started. A lot of shots of dirt and trees. Then it evolved to hills, towers, tunnels, ponds, and playgrounds. But most importantly, photographs of the people who helped haul every boulder and dig each hole that turned a vision into reality.
I made a really pretty concerted effort a couple years ago to make sure that I get as many of those faces as I can.
But beyond the faces,
I'm Shane. I don't know if we've met. I'm the park photographer.
Shane likes to get to know each worker.
I just have a curious personality, so a lot of times it's just fun for me to sit and talk to a guy while I make his picture.
From the beginning, Shane thought about photos like these of workers in New York building the Empire State Building and Central Park.
He knows the historical value of those photos and the story they tell, and he understands the history being made here at the Gathering Place is just as important.
If you don't shoot that, then 25, 50, 75, 100, 150 years from now, you will have done a disservice to the people who are trying to continue to tell the story of the park and talk about how it was built and who built it and when it was built.
He's taken nearly 50,000 pictures. Nearly 12,000 will go into the Gathering Place archive.
All photographers document their communities and the history in their community, and I just, you know, got lucky enough to draw this assignment and get to document this huge piece of what I think will be a huge piece of Tulsa's history.
Shane doesn't have a favorite place in the park, but he does have a favorite moment.
The thing I will remember the most is when my son and daughter played here for the first time.
And as construction at the Gathering Place wraps up,
just enjoy it.
Shane's photography here is only just beginning.
My kids are 5 and 2, so I will probably document this park for a very long time with them.
Tess Monty, News on 6.
A spectacular sight awaits you the moment you walk in to the adventure playground.
Nearly all these people here has a kind of natural power to deal with wood.
From a German wood shop to Tulsa, Oklahoma, an incredible idea becomes reality at Gathering Place.
Plus, we'll show you where thrill seekers can have the time of their lives.
This segment of Gathering Place, Tulsa's Riverfront Park, has been sponsored by Rug Fashion Store.
Louis Arch. And in fact, that is the very hope. That was one of the things when I was talking to George Kaiser. I said, okay, so we went to Germany to get the playground equipment. We hired, one of the best landscape architects and the best why was it so important to you that everything be so top notch? And he said that, for cities in the Midwest, we don't have a mountain range, we don't have the oceans, we don't have the Golden Gate Bridge. To create this iconic image, this association, he feels is so important to help set the city apart. So that was one of the reasons why they wanted this park to be just so spectacular, that it would just really stand out for Tulsa and really be a symbol for the city. So
how about that?
Nice.
And it really is a symbol, and it does stand out. It is amazing. I wanted to get to a couple of Karen watching from Caney, Kansas. We thank you, Karen, for watching. We appreciate that. We've had a couple other folks that are checking in with us here on Facebook. When will the park be opening? That's going to be Saturday. And we also want to let you know about the parade that's going to be happening on Saturday to kick this all off. The parade is Saturday. It's going to go down Riverside Drive. It's going to run south toward the park, ending at John Williams Way just before the grand opening at 10 a.m. So the parade starts at 8:30, and the grand opening is Saturday at 10 in the morning.
And I see here someone saying that they're disappointed that it isn't dog friendly. And I understand people do like to bring their dogs with them everywhere. So let's go over one more time on what the policies are.
Here we go.
In the play areas, the pet policy is no pets allowed inside the park except during special events like Dog Play Wednesday, but that's particularly true in the play areas, is where they're particularly, here we go, no pets other than service animals allowed in play areas unless otherwise authorized. Pets will be allowed on the Midland Valley and riverfront trails. So
you take them to the trails and enjoy that, and then...
And there's little kids in those things, and I can understand. I understand
Certainly.
both sides why people are disappointed, but they really want to focus on making it a friendly, safe experience for the children, and want to do everything we can to ensure that.
Yep, absolutely. We want your questions to come in via Facebook if you are interested in learning a little bit more about Gathering Place, maybe something that we haven't covered in our special. Facebook Live us. We'll be here throughout the rest of the show.
Yes, we'd love to hear your questions, and we're going to go back to programming.
The west of Gathering Place across Riverside Drive is the skate park. It was designed by a California company and offers one-of-a-kind thrills for both beginners and advanced skateboarders and BMX riders. Coming up later this month, there will be a free BMX experience where you can ride with the pros, get autographs, and even watch them show off their skills live. South of the skate park are the sports courts. There people can play basketball, volleyball, street soccer, and street hockey.
One of the main attractions at Gathering Place is certainly the playground.
We are the only TV station to take you 5,000 miles away from Oklahoma to Germany, where the play towers were created. News on 6's Brian Dorman has more.
We're going to bring the most state-of-the-art playground, safe and exciting for kids of all ages in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Jeff Stava with the George Kaiser Family Foundation promised a playground like no other in Tulsa. A 5-acre space within Gathering Place that is creating a buzz all around the city. A buzz that could be heard in Frosdorf, Germany, a tiny town of less than 3,000 people. The sound of saws had folks there gathering in awe at the creations. Creations that soon would make a journey to Tulsa.
All these farmers has little forests. And nearly all these people here has a kind of natural power to deal with wood and a kind of acceptance of wood.
Farmers in the Bavarian Alps transform trees in the Black Forest into incredible structures that you'll notice standing tall at Gathering Place. Like this huge 42-foot tall water tower at Mist Mountain that went from an idea to a sketch to such a large structure it filled 2 semi-trailers.
And I got this hand sketch and then just said, now design a tower that is working.
And here it is, a water tower that will bring relief on the hottest days of summer. A place where kids can cool off, many never thinking about where it was made. And well, that's okay with its creators. just as long as the kids enjoy it as much as they did making it.
And I hope the children in Tulsa have this feeling as well, and that they have many days and weeks and years to explore the tower and its different functions and what is possible.
In all, 6 large structures were created for Gathering Place in Germany. The largest one, 62 feet. And this is incredible. From up here, kids will soar high above the rest of the playground with an incredible view of the Arkansas River. And it was a difficult feat getting these massive structures here. We were there as they were built, taken apart, shipped to Houston, and then reassembled in Tulsa. The delivery so exciting, there was a parade to the park celebrating their homecoming. The job of putting it all together went to Ed Miller, who travels all around the country building playgrounds. Even he is in awe of Gathering Place.
This will be the premier playground in the country, if not the world. It is the largest, most comprehensive play equipment and play space ever constructed.
In total, more than 50 semi-trailers were filled with all the towers and the equipment needed to put them up. A major project, an incredible feat, and all of it done with kids in mind.
It'll teach kids to communicate and work together to kind of accomplish a goal. The beauty of the playground equipment being built is that it's designed for kids to interact together and play together to make things happen.
A collaboration between 2 countries, 2 towns, now shared by one space that will change Tulsa's landscape forever. A place to play, relax, and dream. A place where we can all gather.
If I hear this cloud of children's noise over the playground, I know, good job.
Brian Dorman, News on 6.
All the artwork you'll see on display at Gathering Place is the work of Oklahoma's own, including these vibrant murals you'll find near the playground. Park leaders commissioned numerous artists to help add color and beauty to the park, but they are looking for even more talent because they tell us the goal is to change out the artwork every so often, so there will always be a need for more pieces.
Oh my goodness, well, everything is my favorite part.
Up next, how a Tulsa 6th grader is working to make sure the park reaches a major milestone before the first visitors ever step foot inside. Plus, the outdoor classroom giving Green Country students a lesson in Oklahoma's beauty.
This segment of Gathering Place, Tulsa.
Those playground designers talk about the best playground in the country, maybe the world.
Yeah.
Mayor Bynum was telling me that he was telling his kids about it before they went and telling them about this playground. They said, we get to grow up in the city with the best playground in the world. And he's like, in fact, you do.
That is awesome. That's what it's all about.
I know.
You know?
And that is part of the thing that, they're hoping, that George Kaiser is hoping, like, that this really helps. It's the little things that tie people to their, not that this is little, but, it's bit by bit and little by little tying people to your community and that memory growing up and wanting that for your kids. And yeah, it's great.
That was one of the fun things for me about doing the story on the restaurants is, a place where people gather is around food.
Yes.
And so they wanted from the get-go to include that and incorporate that because there's an intention to this park. Everything is set up for a reason, and it is to bring people together and to gather together. So that's one of the neat things about it.
Yeah.
Wanted to mention just a couple of comments, and it kind of echoes what you brought up is Angie Sullivan Foster. Angie, thank you for your comment. She says it looks amazing. Can't wait to go. Thank you, George Kaiser, and everyone involved that made it happen. It's just going to be so much. Somebody a little bit earlier had posted, "Can't wait to take my grandkids there."
I know.
That's what's touching. That's what touches your heart because I can't wait to see so many families there with smiles on their faces and to hear the kids laughing and just having a great time.
Yeah. And someone asked about is there going to be a rapids area
and like a kayaking
for a kayaking area. And there is going to be an area, there's the boathouse and there's an area for boating, but some of that other stuff is still to come because that goes with the next phases of putting more water in the Arkansas River and all those kinds of things. So there definitely are more phases to come to this, so it won't all be at once. But in terms of just for kids, we haven't even talked about, partly because these were kind of late in coming, so we don't have as much video of that, but it's actually George Kaiser's favorite part of the park is the water interaction with the kids. And it's so cool because some of these things, like kids have to teeter-totter to make the water spray, to make this, and like if you're up on a high thing, you can spray people down there, but it's all cooperative play, which will be so fun to bring the kids together.
And that was one of the things about the goals of the design of the equipment and the park, so that's great to see.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, we appreciate you being here with us on Facebook. More still to come on News on 6.
Gathering Place wanted a student to represent the park as a Goodwill ambassador. Their search didn't take them very far. A Union student who loves to read, always has a smile on her face, and has an infectious way about her. As you're about to see, this young lady has been the perfect fit.
Hi guys, I'm Ariana, the ambassador to Gathering Place, and I was in this classroom when I was your age, and you guys are so lucky to have Mrs. Grounds as a teacher.
Since becoming the Gathering Place ambassador last year, Ariana Rieger has been busy promoting the park and encouraging kids to take part in the Reading Tree Challenge.
Suddenly, the mouse said, I have an idea. Just hold still and I'll get to work.
We caught up with Ariana as she was reading to these first and second graders at Moore Elementary, in the same classroom where she used to be a student.
That's where I started writing my stories. A lot of stories.
Ariana was just always a joy, always happy, always smiling, hard worker. She was a great student.
This was her last year in elementary before moving to the 6th and 7th grade center, but she will always have fond memories of this class and Mrs. Grounds.
I would like to thank her for always encouraging us to write and read and do so much amazing stuff because of her, I'm a good speller, I'm a good reader, and I'm a good writer.
It's like the best teacher gift ever. I mean, it's so rewarding to see that you just have them for such a short time, but they take what you taught them and they just run with it. It's the best.
Besides being involved in her own school, Ariana also participates in events at other elementaries. On this particular day, we caught up with her here at Grove Elementary, the top school in the Reading Tree Challenge. During the school year, these students were challenged to read books and keep track. The goal, 2 million books before the Gathering Place opens. The kids at Grove Elementary in the Union District read more than 121,000 books.
Congratulations, good job.
So they received special recognition and a medal for their efforts.
I'm Leanne Taylor with the News on 6. You guys may be familiar with one of our friends, Ariana Rieger. Ariana, guess what? We hit the 2 million mark on the books.
And Ariana has been there with a smile and an encouraging word, promoting reading in the park that she can't wait to share with everyone.
This is the Reading Tree. The staff at Gathering Place hope parents and educators can come together and we can all inspire the next generation to travel to places and times simply by opening a book. Terry?
Thank you, Leanne. There are more than 1 million plants and flowers blooming throughout Gathering Place. Many of them are native to Oklahoma, creating a beautiful outdoor classroom for kids. Gathering Place has teamed up with some local teachers to develop curriculum that can be taught during field trips at the park. That program launches in the spring of 2019.
The park also has sensory-sensitive rooms available for autistic children. The rooms are located in the lodge in the adventure playground. They are designed to be a soothing place to help children who may be overwhelmed by sights, sounds, and smells in the park, giving them time to decompress.
From the deck of the Boathouse, people can enjoy gorgeous views of the park and the downtown skyline. But wait until you see the inside.
Plus, find out the next one-of-a-kind, multi-million-dollar design project coming to Tulsa.
This segment of Gathering Place, Tulsa's River.
We're excited. This is a lot of fun, and we appreciate you being here with us and joining us on Facebook Live, and also watching our special on Gathering Place on News on 6.
And once again, and this is going to be a huge issue, continuing huge issue, is somebody writing, you know, that they live in the neighborhood and yay, all these people are coming, or are they all parking in front of my house? Well, we hope not. And they're trying to do, they have, let's talk about the parking spaces and how that's going to work.
Yeah, they have 530 permanent spaces throughout the park. Then they're going to have 2,000 temporary spaces on the southeast corner of 31st and Riverside.
But the thing I think that will be the most helpful for most people, and they really want people to do, is there will be shuttles. The shuttles are going to start running at 6 a.m. this Saturday. Because of the parade. They're starting early this Saturday because the park generally won't be opening until 9 o'clock. But this Saturday they start at 6 a.m. They're going to run every few minutes. They're going to run from OSU Tulsa, from the Tulsa County Fairgrounds in the lot behind the Expo Hotel, and also they will run from the River Spirit Casino's Triangle lot, and they're going to run until 11 o'clock at night, both Saturday and Sunday. So there is going to be a lot of shuttle, and that really, I'm sure, will be the way easiest way for people to go.
Yeah, I think so. Then Monday, the shuttles are going to run from 9 a.m. to 10, so a little bit later on Monday, and then through the rest of September from 9 a.m. till 10 p.m.
Sure. And, you know, it's kind of all this is a work in progress. You know, things will be tweaked along the way. You know, this is the plan for how we're going to open the park, and then they're going to see, you know, what works, what doesn't work. But I know it will work a lot better if people try to use the shuttles instead of everybody parking for, you know, for Ruth's house. I mean,
Viola,
yes.
We'll try to keep them from parking in front of your front door.
Yeah, we'll do our best. But, you know, there's going to be some give and take in there. There's no doubt about that.
Somebody posted just a moment ago, and I'm having a difficult time finding it right now, but they said they're going to spend their 45th, I'm guessing, birthday there at the park, and what a great way to do that.
And that is something I'm glad you said that, wanted to mention, because eventually people are going to be able to rent out rooms and things for parties. They're just not quite going to do that right off either, because they don't want to close anything off to the general public at first. So, you know, you can certainly celebrate there, but in next year you're going to be able to rent out a little space to celebrate. So it'll get better and better.
Better and better, yep. And we appreciate you being here with us. Let's go back to News on 6.
Parts of Gathering Place for last.
The Boathouse is a place where families can take a spin on Peggy's Pond or dine on a deck overlooking the park. Rich Lenz takes us on a tour.
Certainly a postcard moment in the park for sure.
Josh Miller is describing the One Oak Boathouse, Selfie Central, a unique structure that is uniquely Oklahoman.
All of the stone is from Oklahoma, southeastern Oklahoma, and on this building alone, the different types of sandstone that are in purples and grays and blues and greens and browns are just amazing.
Architecturally, this roof is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's functional too, obviously. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I mean, you have these high-strength composite panels that are meant to withstand Oklahoma, you know, wind and rain and hail, and so not only are they functional, but they're beautiful.
The 21,000 square foot building sits on 3 levels. On top, the overlook, offering great views of the park and downtown, as well as the Vista restaurant, featuring fine dining inside and casual food outside. The second floor is dedicated to classrooms, activities, and administrative offices. And at ground level, a fully equipped dock.
We will have kayaks, canoes, and paddle boats, and those will all be available for people to borrow and to go out on the pond.
Personal watercraft will not be allowed, and it's not yet decided what, if any, the rental fee for the boats will be.
Now, there's a lot more to this magnificent building than just a place to come and drop a kayak in the water and take a paddle. This building will be the educational epicenter of the Gathering Place. So after you've gone to the playground and had some fun, you can come here and learn, and that goes for children and adults.
This is really the home base for programming, and programming includes all of our events and our education programs. They're basically classrooms, and that's where we'll have classes, workshops, eventually camps for kids.
The Boathouse will also house 2 incredible art installations. As you enter, you'll be greeted by Jen Lewin's Edison Cloud, an interactive 3D chandelier.
As you walk past it, it senses your motion and it changes color as you walk past.
That leads you towards internationally acclaimed artist Mark Dion's ever-evolving Cabinet of Wonder.
And the artist will actually be working on site to put this together after opening. So people will be able to come and see him actually creating his piece of art.
It's really meant to engage folks and talk to each other, engage about what these artifacts mean and why they're next to each other.
All of that art, housed in a building, qualifies as a piece of art itself. Rich Lenz, News on 6.
A new gateway is coming to Tulsa just across the street from Gathering Place. The same landscape architect who designed the park also designed the new Arkansas River pedestrian bridge. Michael Van Valkenburg's concept is an arched bridge that will be the first of its kind in the country. Voters approved spending $24.5 million to replace the current bridge.
So what's next? More than 30 acres on the south side of Gathering Place, where the temporary parking lot is right now, will become the new location for the Tulsa Children's Museum Discovery Lab. Construction could begin as early as next year. The museum will have a 20,000 square foot exhibit hall. There will also be 5 classrooms used to incorporate TPS STEM curriculum. The classrooms are being paid for by bond money. If you want more information on a story you saw tonight, check out our free News on 6 app and look under the News tab. Thank you for joining us for this exclusive look at Tulsa's Gathering Place Park.
We'll see you back here tonight at 10.
Gathering Place, Tulsa's Riverfront Park, has been presented by Bob Hurley Ford.
Well, I don't know about you, but we're ready for this. We are ready for it to open. That's so fun to see.
We've been ready, and we appreciate you joining us here on Facebook Live and watching our program on News on 6. We've been working on it for several months now.
Yeah, we really have, and it's, you know, a park is a living thing. So it has been an interesting thing, and you know, things weren't ready and things weren't on all ends. So it has been a lot of interesting times coordinating it all, but we really think it's everyone. No, I just can't imagine anyone's going to be disappointed when they go out there.
Oh, it's great. And you know, Daniel asked us a little earlier, what about Whitewater Park? And so hopefully Rich Lenz's story, Daniel answered some of your questions. So you can't take your own kayak, but they'll have, you know, paddle boats and kayaks and that kind of things available.
And once again, once they get the water in the river, which is one of the phases that is going to be coming, then that kind of thing can be coming on the river itself, you know, so that will be, but just for the park, it's going to be a little bit more tame than whitewater rafting.
Yeah, definitely.
Have to wait a little while.
We do think it's important once again to maybe go over some things because, I mean, obviously the excitement is building for Saturday. There's some things you need to know before you go, so to speak. Just some general park rules, no glass bottles. You can take your own bottled water, you know, that kind of, just make sure it's plastics, no glass. No amplified sound devices. Use your headphones.
And no alcohol. You can't bring alcohol in.
Yeah, no alcohol. Let's see, got to get my glasses on to be able to read this. Skates, skateboards, scooters, rollerblades, bicycles, you know, those kind of things are only allowed in designated areas. Just a few things to kind of keep in mind.
Right, they don't, because there are going to be a lot of people in there, so they don't want anybody barreling through on a skateboard, you know, through the children's playground. So they're just trying to be careful about that kind of thing.
And drones are pretty popular right now, obviously, but no drones or other radio-controlled equipment are permitted at the Gathering Place. So keep that in mind. Don't take because you're tempted, because you can get such beautiful shots there that a lot of people with drones are probably tempted to go there and get some shots of the new park and all the excitement, but don't take them.
No, no. Just a few simple rules, really. And and you know, that's part of what this park, like you said, everything about this park is intentional. And part of the intention is for everyone to come together and be respectful for each other and think about other people's needs. And, you know, so I think we should, if we all go in with the right attitude, I think it's just going to be a huge success.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Just some of our personal, I don't know, perceptions of the park. Like I said a little earlier, I don't know if you were joining us, but when we're out at the park, it's like you're walking along and you turn your head and you see something new and you're like, oh my gosh. And then you go a little bit further and you walk along and you see something else and you're like, holy cow. You know?
I know. You know, when
it's one thing after the other.
It is. When I was talking to George Kaiser, we were inside the lodge, which is so cool. It's designed to look like a lodge in a national park, and it really does. I mean, that's the one that has the fireplace you could walk into. It's gorgeous. And he said one of his favorite features, he's like, well, just look down, is the floor, which looks like it looks like it could be tile or something, but it's Oklahoma rock, and you can feel it. It's rough. It's got the history, literally, of Oklahoma right there on the floor. You can feel the ridges of trees, and you can feel, you know, so there's just so many touches like that that will, just to be aware of, that just really make it special.
The attention to detail is amazing at this park. And the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, obviously, I want to take my youngest there to the park, but I just look forward to going to the park and watching families. You know, you talk about people watching. Well, this is a good place to people watch, to watch people just enjoy themselves, to gather around each other, to have fun, to listen to the kids laugh. And listen to the parents laugh at the kids. That's going to be so much fun. I can't wait.
And I'm looking forward to Christy Webb. Come over here.
Christy Webb, come on.
Oh, come on. I'm looking forward to her being there, not working. She's our producer.
Our special projects producer has been working very, very hard on this.
Come on, don't be shy.
Deserves a lot of credit.
It deserves so much credit. It's been a
Facebook.
She stuck her hand out just a little bit and said, "Hi, Facebook."
It has been, you know,
it's been a lot of work.
It has been a real team effort.
It's been a team effort for sure, but you guys were amazing. The park was amazing. I think everybody is going to be incredibly thrilled when they get to walk inside for the first time.
I think so too.
Yep,
I think so too. We were, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, we sure appreciate you being here with us on Facebook Live and watching our special on Gathering Place on News on 6 tonight. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, and once again, if you missed any part of the special, it's going to be online, so we hope you'll check it out. We hope we all treasure and come together and appreciate and enjoy this amazing gift to Tulsa.
We'll see you tonight at 10 o'clock.